Manchester United have lost their last two semi-finals in this competition, both to Manchester City. Third time lucky, or will Forest continue what is a terrific record in League Cup semi-finals? They have won every single one they have played. A magnificent 7 out of 7 in the opening. Quite possibly, any team buoyed by this soundtrack will have an extra spring in their step. We're ready to go. Nottingham Forest shooting from left to right, red shirts, white shorts, red socks, attacking the goal, away to our right, the Bridgeford end. And Manchester United get us started in white shorts, black shorts and white socks, attacking the goal, away to our left-hand side. Nottingham Forest haven't beaten Manchester United since Stan Collymore and Stuart Pearce scored at Old Trafford 28 years ago. In the 70s and 80s, Wembley trips were annual. Stuart, how big a night is this for Nottingham Forest?
I wouldn't be understating it if I turned around and said it's probably the biggest game for 25 years at this football club, this one, you know. It's incredible. They've got an opportunity, Forest, to put a marker down. But also as well, don't lose track of the fact that Ten Hag has as well. He'll be desperate to come here and get his hands on some silverware for United. And they'll look at this as a great opportunity.
Good start by Anthony, who comes in from the right touchline, gets in play in the middle of the action, tries to weave his way through the Forest defence. They unpick that chance and clear it away to halfway. But he constantly, so far, has been asking for the ball and making a movement down that right channel. He just tried to run in from the right side as the ball was shifted left to Tyrell Malacia. He then plays it on to Marcus Rashford, who jinks into the area on the edge of the box. He plays a loose ball back towards the edge of the area. It's cut out by Morgan Gibbs-White. And it's brought clear by Serge Aurier, who's looking for Sam Surridge at the top of the Forest formation today. No Chris Wood, he is cup-tied. The Forest team is Hennessy in goal, Aurier, Worrell, McKenna and Loddy. And then Danilo and Freuler with Scarpa just ahead of them. Gibbs-White and Johnson supporting Surridge in attack. Fernandes for Manchester United has it over on the far side, brings the ball back into the penalty area, turns it into the 6-yard box. It's blocked by Hennessy and cleared out towards the far side. David De Gea is the United goalkeeper. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Martinez and Malacia the back four. It's Casemiro holding with Fernandes and Eriksen in midfield. Anthony and Rashford flanking Weghorst, who leads the line. Here is Rashford up towards the edge of the box. 2 minutes played. It's been a bright start by United. That's not a bright cross from Rashford, who's overhit that. And it goes swirling behind the goal and into the Trent end, away to our left-hand side. Here's Stuart Pearce.
Just in these early stages of my thought process of going into the game as well, I'm not 100% sold on Aurier as the right back. I think he can be costly for Forest, and he's matched up against arguably the best player in United ranks at the moment in Rashford, and Malacia getting forward and overloading that area will be a big problem, I think. And if they can deal with that, they'll have a chance tonight. If they don't deal with it, they'll have a big problem.
There's that famous scene in the All or Nothing documentary involving Tottenham Hotspur where Jose Mourinho turns round to Serge Aurier and says, "You've got a penalty in you."
I hope that's not the case tonight, because it'll be in his own box and not the opposition's if he has. But I think he can get caught out a little bit too readily. But listen, time will tell tonight. Let's hope I'm wrong.
Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. We won't let Stuart be a out-and-out Nottingham Forest cheerleader tonight, don't worry. You did have the chance to go to Manchester United, didn't you, at one stage? Or there was certainly interest from them for you, weren't there?
Yeah, I had a quick chat with Brian Robson, their captain. I think they were quite keen on taking me, but no.
Here the ball is worked out towards the far side. It's played infield towards Casemiro. Casemiro out to the right flank looking for the run of Anthony, and it goes all the way back via the left back Loddy to goalkeeper Hennessy away to our left hand side. 3.5 gone. Talksport live at the City Ground. It's cleared upfield by Nottingham Forest, who are on a terrific run of form. They're not an easy side to swat away now. They're unbeaten in 4 Premier League games, but most importantly they haven't lost here since September. It's some record. Here's Aurier out towards the halfway line, on the right touchline in front of our fourth official today, who's Simon Hooper, referee Michael Oliver, two assistants Simon Bennett and Stuart Burt. The VAR back in Stockley Park keeping an eye on proceedings is Peter Banks, and the VAR was kept busy last night in the Southampton-Newcastle game. Hennessy chips it towards the far side. Keeping it in just was Lodi, the left back who won the title 2 years ago with Atletico Madrid in Spain. Guided back to McKenna, and then Hennessy will kick long once again towards Brennan Johnson, who's going to go up with Martinez for a header, but Martinez read the flight of that brilliantly, manages to nudge it out towards the near side. Malacia couldn't keep it in. It's going to be a throw in to Nottingham Forest. Martinez wearing one of those cushioned headbands after a elbow in the head playing against Crystal Palace a week or so ago.
I think Wan-Bissaka might not be up against anyone tonight. I'm just looking at Gibbs White's position. He'll have freedom to wander off of the flank and come and join and overload the central areas, so he will have the opportunity to get forward, which he's going to have to take.
Yeah, he is not he's not adverse to getting forward, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but that's not his forte. Here is Rashford running through the defence, moving past Worrell into the near post. Oh, he slalom by them all and slammed it in past Hennessy, and it's 10 out of 10 for Marcus Rashford now. 10 goals in 10 games, and Manchester United are in front 6 minutes into the game. No one else had a hand in it apart from Marcus Rashford, who picked it up on the left-hand side. He slalomed through the Nottingham Forest defence and then bludgeoned the ball beyond Wayne Hennessy. It's Forest 0, Manchester United 1.
Well, that was a goal from a player that's oozing confidence. He's picked the ball up on the halfway line. He's driven down the line with it. He's decided not to check back and play backwards like you see time and time again. And he just kept running. Freuler come towards him, Worrell come towards him. He went between the two and ended up driving down that access where you think there's going to be a big problem for Forest tonight, as mentioned earlier, and there it was for all to see. Great goal.
I'm not entirely sure where Serge Aurier was, but he didn't appear to be in the same postcode as Marcus Rashford, as he went in between Freuler and Worrell and then ran to the edge of the box and slammed it into the net. It's a terrific start for Manchester United, who lead by a 1-0 on Talksport. And Manchester United, who know that this is their best route to silverware, will be delighted with the way that Marcus Rashford just took the game by the scruff of the neck, dancing down the left touchline and finishing brilliantly. 18 goals for the season now for Marcus Rashford.
I don't think the goalie covered himself in glory there, Sam, did he? I thought he was a little bit slow, showed too much of the near post area.
Well, I did hear today that there might be a possibility of Steve Cooper dipping into the transfer market again. I know they've got a lot of players already, but Keylor Navas is someone that has interested them. Here on the right side, Anthony causing trouble again, left-footed, tries to arc it towards the far post. It wasn't too far away from Wayne Hennessy's right hand upright. It was a delicate little attempt at a finish from the edge of the area by Anthony, who looks to the sky knowing that that was a chance, but Manchester United have started here at some pace.
They certainly have, and both full-backs look as though they have an element of fear, if you like, when the wide players of United are running at them. And Anthony, very unfortunate there. I think the goalkeeper thought that was closer than it actually was.
Forest 0, Manchester United 1. This is the first experience of managing in a major semi-final for Steve Cooper, something that Erik ten Hag got used to in the Netherlands. He won 3 Dutch Cups with 2 different clubs. But Forest did negotiate a 2-legged semi-final in last year's playoff competition, winning promotion eventually at Wembley last May. They beat Sheffield United over 2 legs in the semi-finals before edging past Huddersfield in the final. In fact, Cooper's been involved in 2-legged semi-finals in each of his 4 seasons as a manager. This just happens to be the most prestigious one so far. 9 minutes gone. They already trail Nottingham Forest by 1-0. Freuler back to Aurier. Aurier turning the ball back to 6'6" Wayne Hennessy, who clips it right-footed out to the far side, taken down by Lodi. And then the ball is moved on into midfield. Gustavo Scarpa with his hair tied back in a very South American 1970s fashion. Clips the ball out towards the near side. It goes up by Brennan Johnson into Sam Surridge. You can't get hold of that, and it goes all the way through to David De Gea, and Manchester United play their way out of trouble. They move up the field midway inside the half that they're occupying, with first Anthony and then tussling is Casemiro. He's given the ball away to Danilo, and he's moved it forward, and then Scarpa plays it down the left for Surridge, who tries to lay the ball across the middle of the 18-yard box. It's nudged behind by Victor Lindelof, and it's out for a corner kick over on the far side.
Yeah, United have started these first 10 minutes in supreme confidence, knocking the ball around, but Forest have got to make sure they stay in the game as long as they can. They've got to make sure when they do get opportunities, they're clinical with their passing. They've got an opportunity now to deliver into the box.
They have beaten Liverpool here, drawn with Chelsea, beaten Tottenham Hotspur at the sitting ground. Worth remembering that tonight. And they have a corner to be taken over on the far side. Whipped in, nudged in towards Brennan Johnson, then back towards Scarpa, whose delivery was poor, but Serge Aurier's trying to keep it alive. He's not going to get hold of that, and Weghorst can bring it clear eventually, and then he'll try and release Rashford, and that's a danger down the left side. Danilo comes across and tries to shut him off as he attempts to counter-attack in the left wing position, goes back in field to Malacia, and then Manchester United have got themselves back up into Forest territory. Remember, this all came from a Forest corner. Fernandes round the corner in towards Eriksson, edge of the box, pulls it through the area looking for Weghorst. It comes back out towards Wan-Bissaka, who does like to he's been encouraged to get forward by Erik ten Hag in the absence of Diogo Dalot, but it isn't his forte, and he lost his footing, and it was cleared away by eventually Wayne Hennessy. But ultimately, very quickly, Manchester United win the ball back, and Nottingham Forest are on the back foot.
United got some wonderful technicians in their ranks, the way they moved the ball through the midfield areas to receive out wide. But the one thing I would say about them, they let you play a little bit, United. You can get an option to get out of them, as they're showing now.
Danilo, brilliant ball down the left touchline. Martinez comes across, does well to get there ahead of Surridge, and sees it back to his goalkeeper. He had to show a turn of pace there, did Lisandro Martinez, and he did.
I really like this lad, People questioned his height, questioned this and that about him. As soon as I saw him, I thought, you play with personality and character, son, and I really like that about him.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's too many people criticising him now. He's just walking around with that World Cup medal around his neck like it's a 1970s medallion.
I've got a 1970s medallion, but not a World Cup medal, yeah.
You got a 1970s wardrobe as well, haven't you?
As you well know.
Forest 0, Manchester United 1, 12 minutes gone. You're listening to Talksport. The white shirts of Manchester United just asking for a bit more movement. Wan-Bissaka goes scampering down the right side. He's a yard in from the touchline. It's played in by Anthony into centre field. Collected by Eriksson. Swished out towards Malacia. Malacia, who's further on to Rashford now, who's about 2 or 3 yards in from the touchline on the left. Eriksson takes it on, takes it back, gives it to Malacia, bends across in towards the near post, headed away by Worrell. Comes back towards Rashford, but Aurier dealt with it on this occasion. Freuler helped get it clear, but it breaks down with Johnson. And Manchester United have kept it once again. 13 gone. Talksport live in the League Cup semi-final, first leg at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest trailing here to a Marcus Rashford goal after 6 minutes. And what a goal it was. Here he is again on the ball. A little touch by Weghorst in towards Fernandes, out to the right side. Anthony taking on Lodi, gets onto his left foot, tries to bend it in the far corner. He didn't get the finish right, but what great football that was from Manchester United. Lots of one-touch stuff. And if you wanted to see the value of Weghorst, that's probably where it is, isn't it? That little quick touch on the edge of the area that set the ball back to Fernandes, that opened up the pitch on the other side. Well,
clever positional play. All you're doing is saying, listen, I'm not going to run away from anyone, but I'm here as a point of contact if you need to play into me to get it out to the wide players. And I saw Forest early season, and they almost defended with 7, and they left 3 players up the pitch early season. I think they got hurt doing so. Then there was a change of tactic, and they were more defensive. Tonight I'm watching Forest, and they're doing a similar type of thing, leaving 3 players up the pitch in Johnson, Gibbs-White and Surridge. And I'm not sure you can do that against a side who was supremely confident on the ball like United.
Fernandez wearing the captain's armband, who gives it away in midfield, picked up eventually by Aurier, then worked out wide by Gibbs-White, and that's a poor ball out towards the far side, and it's picked up by Renan Lodi, but it set him back, and that's an even poorer ball by Lodi, who's given it straight to Anthony on the right touchline inside the United half, and he has skated forward at pace and moved up towards the edge of the centre circle. Wan-Bissaka has gone bounding on down the right side. I think there was a little crossover between him and a Forest player, and he ended up in a crumpled heap, but he's back on his feet now. Forest are coming down, United coming down the other side, and it's cleared away by Forest through Hennessy up to the midway point of the half. Back by Lindelof down the right for Eriksson, overhits his pass into the left channel, and it races away off the turf and goes out for a goal kick away to our left. But it's been a really fast start, and I think Brennan Johnson just talking to Alan Tate on this near touchline, and the assistant of Nottingham Forest and Steve Cooper are just trying to work out what exactly it is that they're missing here, Forest, because they haven't really got a foothold in the game yet.
I think he's telling Gibbs-White and Johnson just to come back another cut of grass when we're out of possession. That's what I would be expecting him to say, because at this moment in time, when the ball goes beyond the front three, they're waiting for the ball to get cleared and turned over. They might have joy on it, but you're gambling that the ball might end up in the back of your net.
I thought it was interesting, actually, speaking to Steve Cooper ahead of the Liverpool game. He was almost saying we cannot concede as many goals as we are in the early part of the season. So what we needed to do was start defending a little bit deeper, winning the ball, but making sure that when we won the ball, we then played. We didn't just kick it long. We played our way through. Liverpool gave them the opportunity to do that, and they beat them as a result. And they probably could have scored a couple more goals. Yes, Liverpool had chances in that match, but it was a very well executed team plan from Steve Cooper and Nottingham Forest on that particular day. I think there's a big gap between those front three and that defensive line, which is being screened by Danilo.
And that's the key. You made a really good point there, Sam. That is the key. The gap's too big. Against Liverpool, the gap was much narrower than that, and they're in contact with each other.
Worrell gives it back to the goalkeeper Hennessy. He thrashes the ball upfield. There's a bit of a wrestling match going on between Lindelof and Surridge, but it is not given as a foul by Michael Oliver, the referee. Eriksson takes it wide to the left-hand side of the Manchester United half, right by the touchline, and that's a little bit better from Forest, but Eriksson's emerged with the ball after good work from Casemiro. There's space here for Fernandez, who pops it out towards the wide left. Rashford takes it on, centres the ball to Eriksson. He's got Wan-Bissaka and Anthony alongside him. He's chosen Wan-Bissaka, who has to turn and come backwards, and Eriksson then lends it back out to him again. Anthony makes a dart. Wan-Bissaka trying to jump between two Nottingham Forest hoops. There's a little bit of scrappiness going on, and Scarpa is fouled by Fernandez. It's going to be a free kick to Forest away to our left-hand side on the Nottingham Forest left.
See, on that attack United just had then, you're looking, it's 2 for 2 on the halfway line. 2 United defenders, 2 Forest forwards, and Casemiro in and around Gibbs-White. So 3 for 3 basically. If that was United, you would be scared stiff, and you, as a Forest player, I think that you're isolated. United are happy to go man for man because they know the rest of their team probably won't give the ball away, so it will never get cleared.
Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1, live on Talksport. Bristol City women 0, Manchester City 5 in the quarterfinals of the Conti Cup. Liverpool 0, West Ham 0. They're approaching half-time in that game. And in a 7:45 kick-off, Tottenham 0, Chelsea 0. That's the latest scores from the Women's League Cup, the Conti Cup, which is ongoing tonight as well. In the National League, Scunthorpe 1-0 up away at Halifax Town this evening. Here we're concentrating on Nottingham Forest against Manchester United live in the Carabao Cup. Newcastle United getting a slender lead last night. Manchester United already with a lead tonight, scoring after 6 minutes. Marcus Rashford. I think they know that 11 points is probably too much to make up on Arsenal at this stage. United don't have the squad to mount that sort of charge that they may have done in years gone by, but they know they have a great chance in the cup competitions. Their game against Reading is live on Talksport on Saturday night. In the FA Cup, that's the 4th round, and they've seemingly whizzed through these rounds of the Carabao Cup. Weghorst chasing through the middle of the Nottingham Forest defence, a gap that was closed by Worrell. It goes all the way to Hennessy, and it's cleared out towards the near side. Aurier forward, up towards the halfway line, prodded back by Martinez. It comes to Serge Aurier in the right fullback position, and then it's on to Brennan Johnson, who hugs the touchline right side. He runs up against Martinez. He showed far too much of that to Martinez, and Martinez wins it back, loses it again. Johnson robs it back and tries to turn into a crossing position, but Malacia and Martinez hounded him, and it's a Nottingham Forest throw down by the corner flag.
Yeah, just looking at Forest, they're almost playing a sort of diamond in midfield, if you like, and a lopsided front two, in Surridge one side and Johnson playing further right on this side, which is just freeing up Wan-Bissaka to get on his bike as often as he wants.
Another corner, this time one down in the right corner by Morgan Gibbs-White, and from the right side, Gustavo Scarpa, who is making just his sixth appearance in Nottingham Forest colours, will have the ability to try and cultivate a chance. He places the ball down in the quadrant. He's got quite a few to aim at in the 6-yard box alone. There are 6 red jerseys. It goes straight in there. It's aimed towards McKenna. Might come through to Danilo. It's headed away by Wan-Bissaka, though, before he can reach it. It goes out on the far side and away from for a throw.
Well, I've got to say, that was a fantastic corner. He's hit that with violence and dip, and United were pleased to see that cleared and helped on.
Yeah. McKenna out to Remo Freuler, who's experienced, played in Europe and World Cups and European Championships. In it goes to Gibbs-White, and then chance for Scarpa to try and just nick his way past Casemiro, and it comes back out to Rashford on this near side as Manchester United turn it over. Casemiro doing well to do so. Rashford dances down the left side, tries to put it through the legs of Worrell, maybe a little bit ambitious, it almost snuck through. Malacia harassing the defender. Aurier gives away a free kick.
Once again, I'm not seeing a free kick there, I'm really not, and the sooner the referees sort this out and understand what is a free kick, what is a push and what isn't, players will just continually just throw themselves on the floor.
Well, Nottingham Forest have got a conundrum to solve, but they've been solving puzzles all over the place over the course of the last few weeks and months, and in particular over the last few days, because Gustavo Scarpa has introduced a new craze to the team. He is a Rubik's Cube expert. He can complete it in 34 seconds, a Rubik's Cube in 34 seconds. And everybody else is having a go as well. Apparently Morgan Gibbs-White is not very good at it.
I can understand that as a not very good at it person. I bought one in 84 and still struggling. That's 1984, Samuel, by the way.
So he can do it in 34 seconds and you haven't done it in 34 years. Ball out towards the near side. Rashford on the counter-attack for Manchester United. Bounding forward. He's having a real good night on that left-hand side. It's fertile ground for Manchester United, but his cross into the box was cleared, and now it's a chance for Gibbs-White to scamper forward. He's run clear towards the left, gives it to Surridge. Surridge finishes it off brilliantly, sweeping it into the far corner, and scores yet again when starting for Nottingham Forest. His 9th goal in 13 starts for the club. A brilliant counter-attack, and the competition's top scorers are at it again. Rashford's loose ball cut out. Immediately Nottingham Forest went on the scamper, went on the hunt, a hunt that ends in an equalising goal for Sam Surridge. It's Forest 1, Manchester United 1.
Well, there's that tactical match-up that we talked about, leaving 3 players up the pitch. This will be quite tight for offside, by the way. Just looking at the replay on this one, very, very tight indeed. He might slightly off, I think.
That brilliant goal looks like it's going to be ruled out, because he is about, I mean, I don't know, you never know in these circumstances. It's going to be very, very tight, but I think he's going to be offside by about half an inch. Yeah, offside, no goal, and the celebrations are curtailed. I think a warning for Manchester United, though, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is. I mean, we've seen Forest leave, 3-3 up the pitch. The ball was cut out just then. They've swept up the pitch. Clinical finishing. But Surridge has just gone a fraction too early. No need for it. He should have held his position. Great finish. just went too early. Listen, a fraction of a football boot offside. But that is what Forest have got to do. If they're going to stay and play the way they are, they've got to be clinical and turn over a possession.
It is the rules of the game, it is the laws of the game. But when it rules a goal out like that, when you see that beauty curtailed, it is difficult to take, isn't it? Goal in the Conti Cup, Charlotte Richardson.
It's Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1 after a rather flat opening 36 minutes. It's a scrappy goal to break the deadlock. Sam Kerr bundling the ball home after Erin Cuthbert's shot. Spurs 0, Chelsea 1.
Jason, thank you very much. Sam Kerr with another goal. Nottingham Forest thought they'd scored another goal here. Sam Surridge thought he'd scored another goal, but that has been denied. Ruled out for offside by the VAR, Peter Banks, back in Stockley Park. Having seen the images, we know that was the case, but it's terribly frustrating for Steve Cooper and for Nottingham Forest. But a warning for Manchester United not to get complacent here. 1-0 they lead after 25 minutes. They've had a really bright start, but arguably, Stuart, they haven't really gone on and capitalised on that, which they may have done.
No, the football in the early sort of 15-20 minutes was probably better than it is now since they've got the goal. But what I would...
Gibbs-White, brilliant, from Surridge into Gibbs-White, then out to Scarpa, tries to bend it round the back, in towards Gibbs-White, couldn't get it under control, defender comes across and smuggles it out towards the far side. He goes out for a corner.
Yeah, as I say, United, you can play against United. They do give you the opportunity to play against. Just going back to the earlier counter-attack by Forest for the goal that was ruled out, Aurier was right up the pitch once again, leaving Rashford. So Worrell's got a big problem. He's got to come out the centre of defence to go and deal with Rashford, and he's not got the pace to do so.
That chance that almost came through to Gibbs-White was a real big mistake by Lindelof, who got his feet all wrong. Corner on the far side. And it will be taken by Gibbs-White, who right-footed sends the ball under the goalkeeper, who gets a punch on it, comes out to Scarpa, who's going to hit it first time, punched by the goalkeeper and sent out wide towards this left-hand side. What a hit from Gustavo Scarpa. Forget the Rubik's Cube, that's his forte.
I'll tell you what, decent punch to the edge of the box, and when it's come to him, I think he's hit it side foot. Fantastic volley. Great accuracy, yes he has. As I thought, he's not put his laces through it. He's hit it side foot with pace, with power, and on target.
What a fantastic hit that was from Gustavo Scarpa, a former teammate of Danilo from Palmeiras. He linked up with the team in December, one of a trio of Brazilians in the Tricky Trees lineup. Here's Rashford now moving out towards the right side, trying to funnel the ball into the centre, this time dealt with by Danilo, and it goes into the air and behind into the Trent end and away for Manchester United's first corner of the game. It's been an entertaining encounter so far, but it's Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1, live on Talksport with Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce. And remember, Friday night sees us bring you a live commentary from the Etihad, a top-tier game between Manchester City and Arsenal in the FA Cup, which starts a top-tier weekend. 9 commentaries from the FA Cup this weekend. Make sure you're with TalkSport throughout it. You'll need us. Corner over on the far side. To be taken by Eriksson for Manchester United. A flat one into Fernandes, who tries to just help that on into a congested 6-yard box, but it didn't really work out for him. And now there's a foot race here between Brennan Johnson and Wan-Bissaka, and Johnson has won it. Right-footed strike a little bit too early when there was an option on the far side. I think it was Danilo had broken from midfield and got into the box at rapid pace, but Johnson went a little bit early and decided to strike for goal when he was never really going to trouble De Gea from that sort of range. But boy, was he pacey.
I'll tell you what, a couple of things there. Scarpa's ball was magnificent, by the way. Johnson set sail, and you thought, well, Wan-Bissaka's got 3-4 yards on him, there won't be a problem here. But my goodness, did Johnson show some pace and power then.
Danilo picking it up centre circle in the Manchester United half. He runs into Casemiro, loses out to Casemiro, and Fernandes tries to bring it forward. Up over the halfway line, United come right side with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Infield they go. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1 in the Carabao Cup semi-final, live on TalkSport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Join Alan and Ali back together tomorrow at 6 a.m. All the fallout to this game and beyond. There'll be lots of chat tomorrow, I'm sure, about Manchester United with Dwight York, who's on the programme, and the upcoming Cricket One Day International Series that we'll be bringing you from 2 o'clock tomorrow, Friday afternoon. England away in South Africa, which is going to be on Talksport 2. Darren Gough is coming on the breakfast show tomorrow to discuss that. 29 gone. Forest 0, Manchester United 1. Here is Eriksson. Infield to Fernandes. Out to the wide right position, and Wan-Bissaka. Dello still a little way away after picking up an injury recently. And recurrence of an injury picked up for Portugal when he was playing against Morocco in the World Cup. This is going to rule him out for a little while longer, which is a problem for Erik ten Hag, because as much as Wan-Bissaka has been pretty good in one-on-one defensive situations, he has struggled a little bit and doesn't offer as much going forward. Here is Rashford down the left-hand side, going on the outside of Aurier, getting into the 18-yard box, then twisting, turning, getting back to Malacia, who had a heavy touch and didn't get it set. As a result, is being chased and harassed by Johnson, who seemed to tangle his legs between Malacia's, and Manchester United somehow come away with the ball over on the far side, the right, after retreating slightly. Eriksson prods the ball forward. Malacia tries to win a header. Aurier will get it clear on the edge of the Forest box, up towards the midway point of the Forest half, but it's picked up by Casemiro. He then gets robbed by Morgan Gibbs-White, who comes away with the ball and runs into the United half. He hands it off brilliantly to Johnson, who jinks past Eriksson, jinks past Martinez, gets into the box, right-footed shot towards the near corner, over the top of the crossbar. Brilliant football.
I'll tell you what a game we've got here. It's flowing from end to end. Both teams look as though they can hurt each other now. United started the stronger, but all of a sudden Forest are showing, look, on turnover of possession here, we've got every chance. And Casemiro getting run away from there, Eriksson getting run away from for that bit of pace up front for Forest.
That was brilliant, wasn't it?
It was, apart from the finish. As I say, once he got in the box, he'd done all the hard work and then just should have slowed himself up.
Dad David Johnson is sitting watching tonight, and he's just looked to the heavens as if to say, son, you've got to hit the target from there. He has hit the target recently, 4 goals in 8 appearances recently for Nottingham Forest, but it still remains 1-0 to Manchester United here. Here is Malacia on the near touchline. He's a good 3 or 4 yards in from it when he plays it up towards Weghorst. Somebody's shirt pulled by McKenna, being harassed by McKenna. I don't think the referee was going to let that go, but he did. Went back to Lindelof, who's encouraged to run forward now down the right side. Plays it into Anthony. Anthony drifts infield, hands it off to Eriksson. They're on the cusp of the centre circle in Forest territory. Brilliant night under the lights at the City Ground. Anthony playing it towards the edge of the area, gets it back from Fernandes, goes up to the keeper. Brilliant save by Hennessy, who uses his feet to get down low and kick it clear. A really good Manchester United move, incisive and sharp, and Anthony almost got on the end of it.
I'll tell you what, as you say, fantastic move by United, but when Anthony got in on the goalkeeper, a little bit of composure. He's almost gone to ground as he's got his finish away, but poor finish, I think. Should do better.
Half-time in the Conti Cup. Here's Charlotte Richardson.
Half-time, it's Spurs 0, Chelsea 1. It's not been the prettiest 45 minutes of football, and the goal that is the difference at the break wasn't the prettiest either. A quick throw-in taken by Chelsea set Erin Cuthbert on a confident charge into the penalty area. Her strike wasn't dealt with, and Kerr bundled the ball into the back of the net. Spurs 0, Chelsea 1 at the break.
Forest on the attack here at the City Ground, trailing by a goal to 0. It's Gibbs-White trying to get a shot in from the left corner of the 18-yard box. Claims of handball against Casemiro. Manchester United getting it clear, and the referee allowing things to continue. Wan-Bissaka steers the ball away under pressure, and Nottingham Forest, who are an intense group and put pressure on you wherever you're playing, they're not going to let you just lie down and play around inside their home turf. They're difficult to beat here, and they've been pretty good in the Cups as well. 4 wins in 5 Cup games this season. The only defeat they suffered was to Blackpool in January. 6 wins in their last 10, if you can include that shootout win against Wolverhampton Wanderers, where Dean Henderson was the hero. Contrast that to the first 15 games of the season, where they won just 3 of them. But there's been an uptick. Here's Danilo into Gibbs White in the number 10 position for Nottingham Forest. He couldn't finish off his pass to Danilo, who felt he was impeded, and Manchester United escape on the counter at rapid pace. Bruno Fernandes into the centre looking for Weghorst. It's headed away by Scott McKenna. Bounces just outside the box. Anthony fighting with Danilo for it. Scarpa trying to get away, and eventually a free kick goes Nottingham Forest's way. But it's end-to-end stuff, Stuart, isn't it?
It's a fantastic game to watch, and both teams have got the counter-attack and the swift threat to go from end to end. And I'm looking at the recovery of Aurier, who's throwing his arm in the air and gesturing. He's gone up the pitch, which is one thing, fine. When it breaks down, you've got to sprint back. You can't amble back and leave Worrell to deal with Rashford on his own. Otherwise, it's going to be too much of a problem.
Well, if he needs any advice, then he could always ask a Nottingham Forest fullback legend. Here is Eriksson over on the far side, played in towards Weghorst. It's a bit behind him and cut out by Worrell, cleared away by Nottingham Forest, out to Danilo, who's just short of the centre circle. He edges it on to Morgan Gibbs-White, who's travelling now forward, goes past Casemiro. He's so confident on a ball, he bends it out to the far side, and Scarpa into the area, cross into the box, just behind Gibbs-White. I thought he was going to try something spectacular. It went behind him, was cleared away by Martinez. Now Manchester United come away at the other end. What a cup tie. Weghorst trying to get in beyond Worrell, holds the ball up well, turns, support comes from Fernandes. He looks up again, tries to play it back to Weghorst. It's blocked by Freuler, and now Rashford has it. And again, those three players are staying up and away from the action as Rashford comes into the penalty area, skips it past Worrell, but it's too heavy the first touch, and it goes running behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. But there was a moment there where the three Forest forward players just stopped, even though they were sort of within touching distance of the play, and allowed the back battalion just to deal with it, even though Manchester United were pushing numbers forward. It was a very odd passage of play.
It's obviously a tactic they've looked at, and when you look at the match-up between Gibbs-White and Casemiro can't get near him. The distances are too wide, and all he's got to do is push it to either side of him and run away from him. Casemiro, intelligent player, good on the ball, but what he hasn't got is a turn of pace and a good turning circle, if you like.
Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1 on Talksport. Rashford with a goal after 6 minutes, and Nottingham Forest thought they'd equalise through Sam Surridge, only for VAR to intervene. VAR intervening last night in the Southampton-Newcastle game. Southampton had a goal chalked off for a handball in that match, and VAR playing its part tonight. This is the first game in which the technology is in use, the first round of the competition that the technology is in use. None of it has been used up until this point. It's used in both legs of the Final Four stage and the final itself. The other rule change that comes back in this stage of the competition is that we reintroduce extra time at the end of the two games if they are level. Here is Scarpa down the left side for Nottingham Forest, hugging the touchline, trying to get to the byline, pulls it back through the 18-yard boxes. Doesn't reach a red shirt, but it was another delicate little ball which could have caused problems on another occasion. Fernandes nicks it off Weghorst's toes, then went running forward, complaining that Weghorst got a little bit too close to him. He's massive, by the way, Weghorst, isn't he? He's a big chap.
He's a big boy, but I tell you what, I don't think he's given the ball away yet. In everything that he's done, he's showed for the ball in the right areas of the pitch, and you can tell the United players trust him with the ball.
1.97 m without Weghorst. He is a very tall, lanky figure. Signed for a £2.6 million loan fee from Burnley, even though he was at Besiktas. Here is Gibbs-White, hoping that he's stayed onside, out to Johnson on the right-hand side. Johnson trying to get across in, it's blocked by Malacia. Martinez actually did very well to get out towards him as well and gave him no real option as to where to go. And Manchester United bring it clear. Casemiro being tracked by Gibbs-White now as he reaches the halfway line. Gibbs-White pinches the ball, turns it over, runs up towards the edge of the penalty area, needs an option, then tries to take on Martinez on the outside, keeps hold of it. Johnson wants it back again. Gibbs-White twisting, turning, trying to play it to the edge of the box. Danilo takes it on now, goes out towards the far side and then comes into Freuler's path. He steers it to Scarpa. Scarpa with a chance to cross. It takes a deflection on the way through. It's headed away by Lindelof. Gibbs-White is having a very interesting match, isn't he? He is going through the repertoire of his tricks. Very confident play.
He is, but what he's done and what Steve Cooper's done, which is intelligent play, he's matched him and Gibbs White up, so they're in the same area. Gibbs White springs off of him when he receives it, and he knows full well he looks like an old man out there. When you've got a young pup who's got good legs.
Talking about Casemiro.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He looks like an old man out there.
Anthony trying to jink his way into the penalty area. Lodi goes to ground, but Anthony's still got it. Now waits for Wan-Bissaka to arrive, and then Scarpa plays it against Anthony before Manchester United can get hold of it, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Well, yeah, he's put Morgan Gibbs right on Casemiro. He's sitting on him. Every time he gets the ball, he's right up to him. He's in his face. He's causing him problems, and he's had a real struggle distributing the ball as a result of that. They turned it over there brilliantly, and whenever he gets it, I mean, there's like a frisson of electricity going through the City ground, isn't there?
There is. I mean, Gibbs White's full of confidence at this moment in time, and he knows full well he's playing against a player who physically can't match him. A lot of players don't make use of that. Gibbs White certainly is.
Wan-Bissaka wandering into a midfield position for Manchester United, leading by goal to nil. Eriksen's given the ball away. Surridge has just dropped back in and nabbed it, and Nottingham Forest trying to bring it forward up through the middle of the pitch. Good turn and pass by Danilo, sends the ball out towards the far touchline. Lodi into the centre. Went past Wan-Bissaka too easily, comes back to Scarpa, who's overhit that. Well over the top of the crossbar and into the Bridgeford end. And it's away for a goal kick away to our right. Erik ten Hag, I think, is a little bit concerned here. Come out to the edge of his technical area. He's having a few words. Worth pointing out there, Stuart, because I heard you on White and Jordan on Monday. He's technically out of his technical area there. You're not going to be happy with that, are you?
I'm quite happy in being out of his technical area because his demeanour is nice and calm and settled. He's not put his arms on the pitch impeding one of the opposition players.
Which is what Arteta did the other day, which is what you were complaining about, weren't you?
It's not for me to complain. I was on a Zoom call 2 weeks ago with referees talking about the imposing of more restrictions in the technical area, and by all accounts I must have been the only one on the call.
Well, Erik ten Hag is just standing outside his technical area, but he's not on the pitch, and he is always very calm. Steve Cooper's inside his technical area away to our left-hand side. White and Jordan back at 10 till 1 tomorrow. When are you back on with them again?
Monday, actually. They asked me to come on Monday.
You're always good at placating Simon. You do sort of kill him with kindness every now and again, don't you?
I give and take, but he never knows which one's coming in at what time, and that's what keeps him on his toes.
4 minutes to go before the end of the first half. 1-0 to United. Fernandes has it right side. He bends the ball towards the far post, looking for Casemiro, but it goes right away over the Brazilian's head and behind Aurier, and out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1, live on Talksport. Friday night, Manchester City against Arsenal is live on Talksport. Very much looking forward to that game. And all the games that we're bringing you in the FA Cup over the weekend, 9 of them are live. Walsall-Leicester, that's going to be a good one, isn't it? A chance for maybe for an upset, ripe for an upset, that one, I think.
Could well be. As I say, Cup weekends are fantastic, really are.
Accrington Leeds on Talksport 2 at 12:30 at the same time as that. Fulham, Sunderland, Preston, Tottenham, Manchester United, Reading, Brighton, Liverpool, Wrexham, Sheffield United. That'll be a good one as well. Wrexham playing really well in the National League. Sheffield United 13-point cushion the last time I looked to third place. Not bad in the Championship. All those games live on Talksport. And Derby against West Ham is live in the fourth round, Monday night, 7:45. Cup football dominating the agenda for a week or so. And we'll be back with the second legs of the Carabao Cup as well, Tuesday and Wednesday night. So it is a busy old period. Lots of fixtures throughout the course of January and February. Mistake by Fernandes, and Surrey's trying to get away. Didn't quite manage it. The ball goes behind for a goal kick after a tussle with Fernandes over on the far side. And it is a goal kick away to our right. But look, Manchester United, after such a bright start, I think we're expecting, and many people watching and listening and, peering on this game will be thinking that, Manchester United are going to have this licked really nice and early. But it's definitely not been the case. They're in a game.
They certainly are. United were fantastic, I think, for the first 10-15 minutes, bossed the game, and you thought it's going to be a tough evening for Forest, and I doubted the tactical approach of what they were doing, leaving too many up. But that counter-attack threat has become more and more prevalent as this half's gone on from Forest, and the match-up of Gibbs-White with Casemiro has caused a problem, and I don't know whether Ten Hag's going to do something about that.
Forest were knocked out in the second round last season when they were thrashed by Wolves. But they do have a rich history with this competition, 4 times winners in 12 years under old Big Ed, as his nickname used to be. Here is Eriksson picking the ball up left side of the Forest half onto Fernandez, who tries to shoot from 25 yards out. He didn't catch it at all well, and it goes swirling behind the way for a goal kick away to our left-hand side.
I think if I was United, I'd be tempted to swap Casemiro for Fred and put Fred around Gibbs-White, because I think Gibbs-White is the one that it goes through to make Forest tick on the counter-attack.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of legs, hasn't he, Fred? We saw him in the Derby match where he did a brilliant job in that game on Manchester City's Kevin De Bruyne.
He did, yeah. Here's
Casemiro over on the far side, running down the right channel by the side of the centre circle, moving, advanced in towards the edge of the box. It comes to Anthony on the volley, then comes back out to Weghorst, and he taps it in, prods it into the roof of the net from 7 yards out. And Wout Weghorst has his first goal in Manchester United colours. He is the loan that Manchester United hope give them a chance to cash in on silverware in the not too distant future. He may have just scored a very important goal on the stroke of half-time. Forest 0, Manchester United 2.
Well, if ever there's a good time to score a goal, it's right on half-time. United getting their second. Anthony's got a fantastic sort of half volley away on the edge of the box. Goalkeeper made a good save, but it was still a lot of work to do, I think, for Weghorst. And sort of semi-off balance, he's managed to get his body over it and steer it on the half volley into the roof of the net. That wasn't an easy finish, falling backwards.
Oh, that was a really good striker's finish, wasn't it? And after playing 69 minutes against Crystal Palace, 90 minutes against Arsenal, inside 45 minutes at Nottingham Forest, Wout Weghorst has his first Manchester United goal, and it's Forest 0, Manchester United 2.
Yeah, it's that type of thing that a United team in form can do to you. Just a few minutes earlier, Surridge had the opportunity to run away from Fernandez, and Fernandez got back at him, and I think he should, in little instances like that, he's got to do better for his team.
Well, the shot from Anthony was saved by the goalkeeper, Hennessy, down to his left, but he steered it straight into the path of Weghorst with immediate instinctive reaction, prodded out of foot, caught it brilliantly, and as a result it's 2-0 to Manchester United, and they're in a great position in the semi-final. Here is Danilo. Nottingham Forest with it all to do, but there's still a very long way to go. There's 3 halves of football to be played yet, with another one here tonight and 2 up at Old Trafford next Wednesday evening. But Manchester United in command now, thanks to that goal from Wout Weghorst, and that's what they brought him in for, wasn't it? You know, to get them a few goals.
I think his general performance and general play's been very good tonight. You know, he's been sensible with the ball. I don't think he's given the ball away yet, and he was the one reading the knockdown off the goalkeeper to prod home. And when you consider the finance that it took to bring him here on loan as well, Sam,
I think he'll be pretty happy with that. Well, Nottingham Forest have won all 6 of their previous League Cup semi-finals, but this first half of the first leg suggests that record is very much under threat. Marcus Rashford got Manchester United off to a great start with a goal after 6 minutes. They thought they'd equalise through Sam Surridge before VAR intervened. Then on the stroke of half-time, Wout Weghorst with an instinctive finish has made it Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 2.
As the players walk down the tunnel away to our left on this side of the ground, Forest will wonder how on earth they're 2-0 down. They started badly, fantastic Forest football for most of that first half, and then it ended badly, and suddenly United are totally in charge. Stuart Pearce, let's talk about that frightening start for Forest. You highlighted Aurier on Rashford as a mismatch in the 3rd minute. 3 minutes later, Rashford scores with Aurier up the other end of the pitch. And it's clear Aurier's at fault, but Freuler's come across to deal with Rashford, doesn't impact it at all. Worrell basically waves him through and he scores. You look at the keeper as well, but one of those two, Freuler and Worrell's got to crash Rashford and risk taking a yellow. They've just got to stop him, surely.
Yeah, they have. They've got to work together, and quite often what happens is they work in isolation, which you saw there. 2 players working in isolation instead of doing a tag team on him. He should never have been allowed inside. Once he gets inside, the goalkeeper's showing too much of that near post. Terrible goal for Forest to concede, and from that moment on you thought, well, United are going to boss the game. They bossed the first 10-15 minutes. After that, Forest come into the game and really showed that they had the opportunity on the counter-attack, but their goal before half-time has really been the dagger in the heart, and United will be delighted. This game at the moment, result-wise, has gone to form.
Yeah, let's just praise Forest's football, and ultimately it might mean nothing, because all that matters in a cup tie, in a semi-final, 1 leg, 2 leg, whatever, is the result, is getting through. You can play terrible, still win and go through. That's really what matters in a cup tie. They're 2-0 down and it's a mountain. Even a quarter of the 2-legged tie gone, it's a mountain for Forest to climb. But boy, did they play some good stuff. Scarpa's passing, Brennan Johnson's pace, Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, if he keeps playing like that, he's surely going to be knocking on Gareth Southgate's door.
Well, he's playing with confidence, he's playing with energy, and what I like about it, sometimes with players, when they pick the ball up, I don't know whether his coach and his manager have said to him, Casemiro's got a lot of strengths. One of them isn't running and turning. Every time you get the ball, I want you to ping off him, get turned and run away from him. And he's done exactly that. And it's caused United the odd problem. And that's probably the one thing at half-time with Forest being 2-0 down, that you might say, you never know, they're still in with the opportunity within this game. If I was United, I'd bring Fred on to match up Gibbs-White. I really would.
Yeah, I mean, having said that, they're 2-0 up and in control in terms of the scoreline. And that goal you talk about just on half-time, Weghorst, what I like about it is that he's alert to it. He's looking all the time. He's waiting for the keeper to beat it out in case that happens, and it does happen. He's first to it because he's the only one watching that, the only one reacting. The defenders aren't really doing that. Because of his step, rather than because he's one-footed, I think, he has to improvise. So it looks like he's got to finish with his left, but I think his step was all wrong for that. So he has to improvise with his right foot, and it's a brilliant finish in the end for a Man United player on loan from Burnley, which is a conundrum for many, but that's the way football works these days. It's great for him to get that, and you mentioned it in commentary. I think he's had a really good first half and almost earned his goal.
Yeah, sometimes if you keep linking things up, doing the right things for your team, you'll get opportunities. By him linking up and them keep playing the ball into Weghorst's feet and him keeping possession all the time. Even on the halfway line, when someone was in his shirt clambering all over him, he never gave the ball away. Come back, he kept it, and he linked play. And then in and around the box is where you, as Cloughy used to say, you dip your bread. He dipped his bread by being alert, waiting for it to bounce off the goalkeeper, reading play, and then the lean back. That was a good finish, make no mistake about that. As I say, I've seen many of them go over the crossbar.
Did he say that to you when you're 3-0 up in a cup tie and then he wanted more and more goals and he kept saying to you, dip your bread? As in, get forward and fill your boots, basically.
Yeah, but I think we beat Aston Villa here 6-0 in a game, and it was about 5-0, and I sort of, well, it's 5-0, I'm not bothering going forward now, and he absolutely wiped the floor with me. I walked in, he said, what are you doing? I said, well, we'd won the game. He said, listen, that's not how the game works. You get forward, you keep doing the things that make it right. If we got 5, go and get 6. We get 6, go and get 7.
Dip your bread.
Dip your bread.
So you've talked about what Man United have to do to stop Morgan Gibbs-White. What do Forest have to do to get even anywhere close to competitive in this two-legged tie now?
I think they're competitive within the isolations of this game.
I mean the scoreline,
yes,
really.
Yeah. What they can't do is let it go to 3 and 4, because you're on a fool's errand going to Old Trafford at that. I think United, and I think you do as well, United will score at Old Trafford. So for all intents and purposes, this might be, if they need to score, I think they will. What they've got to do is come out and win this second half, Forest, if they possibly can. So if they win this 1-0, they're still in with a squeak when they go on their travels, and they would have learnt a lot from this game.
Do you know anyone who's been on the coaching staff of a team that's gone to Man United and won in a League Cup tie last season, maybe? Was that West Ham? Was that last season or was that the season before? I can't remember. You won 1-0 there, didn't you?
It was last season, yeah.
Was it?
Can you not remember?
No.
It's okay.
You go to Old Trafford and win, and you're on the coaching staff.
Okay.
Can you not remember that?
Look, a win's a win.
Lanzini.
All right, a win's a win.
Unbelievable. Go and watch it on the internet or something. Forest, they played really well in the first half, and I can't believe I'm giving you this half-time scoreline live on Talksport. It is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 2. You're listening to Kick-Off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
On hold to your bank. That lovely music. Waiting for a friend who's late.
Where is he?
Queuing for the bathroom. Nightmare. Waiting. Who needs it? With SEAT, you don't have to. Selected SEAT SUVs are in stock and available now. Live bolder. Live better. SEAT SUVs.
Limited stock of SEAT Ateca and Arona vehicles.
Hello, Albert Einstein here. Today I've been visiting the local high street. More and more businesses are using smart meters to help them feel more in control of their budgeting. The smart meter sends gas and electricity readings straight to the supplier. So rather than estimates, you receive accurate energy bills. And that means you know exactly how much you're spending each month. Now that's smart.
Get a smart meter for your business by searching Get a Smart Meter today. Eligibility may vary.
I need a big flavour.
A what?
I mean a favour. Sorry, I think I need a wrap. I mean nap.
Sounds like someone has flavour on the brain. Get wrapped up in flavour with McDonald's Big Flavour Wraps. The new spicy sriracha chicken one. Today's $1.99 wrap of the day. From 11 a.m. Wrap of the day discount not available on delivery orders. Price may vary. Sriracha only available for a limited time. Subject to availability.
Carabao Cup live on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Sites.
A traffic update for all late-night travellers. There are delays outside getting to bed due to a hold-up at Grand's Never-Ending Stories. Please take the diversion via Mayo Chicken or a warming latte, which will see you home. Plenty of McDonald's restaurants are open late tonight. See mcdonalds.com for opening times.
Hi, I'm Lauren James, and I'm a forward for Chelsea and England Lionesses. The physical demands on match days and training are obviously very high. I've learnt you can't out-train or outplay a bad diet, so I'm always looking to fuel my best performance. I've tried lots of different protein brands, and Optimum Nutrition is my favourite. Part of my regime, I use Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey Protein in between my training sessions, gym and games, to repair and rebuild my muscle fibres, so I can just continue to go again and be the best version of me.
Search Optimum Nutrition, the world's #1 sports nutrition brand. Verify at optimumnutrition.com/en-gb/claim.
As a Bolt driver, I work hard. I work long hours, getting people where they need to be. From A to B. So, at the end of the day, I expect a fair deal from my employer. I deserve better.
Bolt drivers, following the successful Uber claim, be part of the fight for the compensation and workers' rights you deserve. Join Lee Day's Bolt Drivers Claim today. Visit leeday.co.uk/Bolt claim or text claim to 82727. Carabao Cup live on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
That is a superb goal.
Kick-off, League Cup special.
It's a quite brilliant goal.
On Talksport.
The only place on national radio you can find out is here on the home of the FA Cup. Haaland once again making himself at home at the Etihad.
Bukayo Saka on the score sheet again. Ford, it's 1-1. He's done it again. He's rescued it for Leicester. Somerville has surely won it for Leeds United. Alexander Mitrovic for Fulham. That should do it for Sunderland. Ahmed Diallo celebrates. Harry Kane with the strike to put Tottenham in front. And that could be the winning goal for Preston North End. Bruno Fernandes finds the corner. Manchester United lead. Lucas Shaw gets at least one back for Reading. Brighton take the lead. A stunning effort from Caicedo. And Mo Salah scores for Liverpool.
Wrexham beat a team
59 places above them in the league ladder.
The FA Cup, the original and the best.
We love cup football on Talksport. That's why we're here at the City Ground tonight for Forest 0, Manchester United 2 in the first leg of this semi-final. And the FA Cup this weekend, we've got loads of ties. Friday night is the big one. Man City, Arsenal, live and exclusive and only on Talksport. 8 o'clock kickoff. John Hugh Wozencroft on Talksport from 7. Jim Proudfoot will be alongside the man alongside me tonight, Stuart Pearce, for commentary of that one. What a game. Man City, Arsenal, Friday night. And then Saturday I'll be on game day duty from 11 at Walsall, who take on Leicester, League 2 against struggling Premier League side. It's live on Talksport. Same time, it's League 1 Accrington taking on Leeds United. We found out post-match last night on Talksport that John Coleman, the Accrington manager, a Liverpool fan, but he had a Leeds kit. As a kid, I'll be finding out more about that when I interview him on game day in the build-up to that game. It kicks off at 12:30. That one, Accrington Leeds, will be live on Talksport 2. To get Talksport 2, just download the Talksport app. You can swipe between the two stations very easily. Round the grounds with all the cup goals and the EFL goals on Game Day Live with Dan Windle, Alvin Martin and Chris Sawalamo when the games kick off at 3 on Talksport. Same time, Talksport 2, it's Fulham against Sunderland. 6 o'clock in the FA Cup, Preston, Tottenham, live on Talksport with Baker Others. And 8 o'clock, Faye stays on to bring you commentary of Manchester United against Reading. Paul Ince taking his Reading side back to the club where he was captain, Manchester United. That's at 8 o'clock. And on Sunday, we've got Brighton Liverpool at 1:30. I'll be hosting the show, but I'll be at the racecourse, home of the National League leaders. Wrexham went top last night, and they take on second in the Championship, Sheffield United. The way Wrexham are playing, they're all goals. They do concede as well. They were 2 up at second bottom Maidstone on Tuesday night. It went 2-2, and then they got a winner with their centre-back Aaron Hayden, who's on 11 goals for the season, scoring the winner to take them top of the table. They are all goals. That will not be 0-0, famous last words, but that's 4:30 kickoff, FA Cup 4th round, live on Talksport. Really looking forward to that one. And Monday night, what a game this is. Derby against West Ham United again in the FA Cup 4th round. I'll be alongside Adam Bridge and Danny Murphy for commentary of that one, and that's Monday night. Then Tuesday night's Newcastle Southampton Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg, Newcastle 1 up. And on the Wednesday, Man United Nottingham Forest at half-time here tonight in the first leg. United lead by 2 goals to 0. Right, let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
It's a tough one now, Nicola McGeady, for Nottingham Forest, but they play well enough to suggest that they're not out of the tie just yet.
Well, Adrian, punters are happy anyway with Marcus Rashford continuing his firing form. He's now 9-4 to score a brace, and to mix it up, he can get 10-1. He scores from outside the penalty area, but he was very popular before kick-off to score first. The match betting, it's as good as suspended, Adrian, with Forest 70-1 now. But perhaps for those who think, Forest can get something from this, it's 11-8 that United win, both teams score. This isn't as one-sided as the scoreline may suggest, I think anyway, but I think, obviously it's going to take a huge effort for Forest to get something. The draw is 18-1. Our traders don't see Forest scoring, though. They make it 4-6 that United win to 0. What the scoreline is going to be remains to be seen. Could it be 3-0? Well, that's 3-1, and 4-0 is 13-2. But we're seeing money for United to win by a good few more goals.
Nicola, thank you very much. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. begambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. begambleaware.org.
Let's check in on the Conti Cup. They are into the second half. Spurs against Chelsea at Leyton Orient. Charlotte Richardson.
It's Spurs 0, Chelsea 1, and it's not been the most memorable of first half here at Brisbane Road. Just the one goal, the difference. Sam Kerr getting on the end of an Erin Cuthbert shot that looked goal-bound. It ricocheted off of Kerr into the back of the net. Spurs have set up very defensively. They've worked really, really hard off of the ball to contain Chelsea, who look like they might be freshening things up with a couple of substitutions to make this tie a little bit comfortable and progress to the semi-final. Right now it's Spurs 0, Chelsea 1.
Yeah, Chelsea on their Twitter feed have asked the question of the fans: who scored the goal, Sam Kerr or Erin Cuthbert? Sam Kerr leading the way at the moment. It's finished. The holders are through to the semi-finals. Man City 6-0 victors away to Bristol City. Liverpool 0, West Ham 0 in the other one. National League, Halifax 0, Scunthorpe 1. But the players are back out. The Forest anthem rings loud and proud around City grounds as we get ready to get underway in the second half. Forest with a job to do to stay in this Carabao Cup semi-final. They're 2 down. Here's your commentary team on Talksport of the former Forest captain Stuart Pearce alongside Sam Matterpace.
Well, Nottingham Forest had to go away and win the last time they were in a semi-final of the League Cup. March 1992. They had to go to White Hart Lane and beat Tottenham in order to go through to that final, which they achieved. They've got to come back from a deficit here if they are going to have any chance of making it to Wembley for the second time in 2 seasons. Decent cross by Loddy in towards the far post, looking for Surridge straight off, just 20 seconds into the start of the second half, and it goes over Surridge's head and it hits the defender and goes behind and away for the first corner of the game. Fast start by Nottingham Forest, and they need to make a fast start if they're to get back into this game. They've got Hennessy in goal, Aurier, Worrell, McKenna and Loddy as the back four, Scarpa, Danilo and Freuler in midfield, Gibbs White, Johnson flanking Surridge in attack. They're taking a corner from the far side. Scarpa in towards that near post, away by Fernandez, and then further clear by Anthony up to the halfway line. Manchester United in white shirts, black shorts and white socks, attacking the goal away to our right in the second half, of De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Martinez and Malacia as the back four. Casemiro holding, but he's had problems with Gibbs White. Eriksson and Fernandez just further on from that. Anthony and Rashford supporting Weghorst, who's got his first Manchester United goal in attack. He's just dabbed the ball back into midfield. And Stuart, it is important, isn't it? It's imperative that Nottingham Forest make a fast start to this second 45.
It certainly is. As I say, if they don't and they concede the next goal, well, you would have thought it's a tough ask now, but you would have thought that United are on their way to Wembley and getting their suits measured up.
1st of March 1992. Did you play in the semi-final? I know that you were injured, weren't you, for the League Cup final in 1992. Did you play in the semi-final?
I did, yes. And I remember after the game away at Tottenham, which we won and got to the final, I think Cloughie jetted us off to...
Here's Weghorst down the right-hand side, played in by Anthony. Goes out of play on this near side and away for a corner. A quick turnover possession, the midpoint of the Forest half, and Weghorst was running forward. Almost left people like the end of an EastEnders episode there. Cloughie jetted you off to?
Tenerife.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
Yes, yeah, indeed. It was very nice.
It's a bit of a cliffhanger.
A bit like the Tottenham game.
Eriksson on the near side to... that was your prize, was it? Get a trip to Tenerife. Would you not have gone if you hadn't won?
No, we were going anyway. Don't worry about that.
Eriksson on the near side to take the corner kick for Manchester United in towards the near post. It was aimed towards Casemiro. It's glanced away by Surridge, comes back out towards the halfway line and then all the way back to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's the 4th League Cup meeting between these two. Manchester United have won all the previous 3. Here's Rashford, who started so brightly in that first half. On the left, jinking his way to the edge of the area. Anthony, space for Fernandez out wide on the right. He threatened to hit it, didn't. Comes back out to the edge of the box. Falls to Anthony, who's completely miskicked it. And then it's gone back to Casemiro on the edge of the area. He goes wide out into the right wing position. Fernandez pulls it through the box. Not a great ball, cleared away by Danilo. And it's up over the halfway line. And Manchester United have possession again. 3 minutes gone, second half. Forest 0, Manchester United 2. Rashford and Weghorst with the goal.
Combine the two, you've got some player.
Do you know
6'7" and as quick as lightning.
That's what they're going to call them, I think, with their combination play. The Rash Horse.
I think there's a play on in London, isn't it? Rash Horse. Oh no, it's Warhorse.
If it is, you've been to see it.
I've seen.
Yeah. Another thing I heard on the White and Jordan show this week was your eclectic week of entertainment.
I mean, last night was a weakness for the prosecution in London. Magnificent courtroom drama, Agatha Christie. Worth a watch, really was.
Yeah. Well,
and back to the game.
Nottingham Forest need to find a case for their defence because they conceded twice in the first 45 minutes. And it's Manchester United who look as if they're heading to Wembley. The ball is on halfway with Christian Eriksen, Manchester United, and then back to Lisandro Martinez. Eriksen looks up, Anthony's just dropped into a number 10 position at the moment in the middle of the park. Wan-Bissaka's come right out on this right touchline. Eriksson into Weghorst, who's dropped deep. There's some space for Fernandez on this near side, the right. He's got there, headed the ball to keep it in play, but Scarpa has come across to get it up over the halfway line for Nottingham Forest. And eventually it's out of play from Lindelof and it's out for a throw. Alan Tate, the assistant manager of Nottingham Forest, is clapping his hands.
There's a couple of things I'd like to pick up now. This is where sometimes I get frustrated with Marcus Rashford. He's picked the ball up after 6 minutes or so, run straight through the back line and put the ball in the net like a kid in a playground. And I'm sat there thinking, if that was me now and I was Rashford, I would be saying, give me the ball, because this lot are scared stiff of me. Keep giving me the ball. I don't see that from him. I don't see it from his personality, demanding the ball, to want to get it all the time.
Here he is on the right side asking for the ball. Doesn't come his way. Goes back to Eriksson on halfway. And then Eriksson tries to send it out towards the right-hand side. Chested down by Bruno Fernandes. Wearing a white Under Armour under his white Manchester United away shirt. Back in field it goes. The kits are at least reminiscent of the old days, aren't they? This is what they used to look like when Manchester United used to come here. White shirts, black shorts. Here they are again on the left-hand side. Coming forward, Malacia into the near post. Comes through to Fernandes after a duck from Weghorst. I think he must have got a shout from Fernandes. And Fernandes went to volley the ball left-footed, swiped at it. I think it actually went... Well, I think it might have taken out one of the floodlights.
I think when we talked about Weghorst's finish in the first half, that just shows how you can get them horribly wrong when they bounce just in front of you.
Yeah, it did just bounce a yard in front of Bruno Fernandes, and he skied it over the top of the crossbar. It remains 2-0 to Manchester United, and De Gea's got to come out and use his head here, because the ball was going towards Surridge on the edge of the box. He did it well, but it's dabbed down, and Johnson's got away from Lindelof, and then Lindelof, the Swede, has recovered brilliantly by smashing the ball out of play over on the far side when he just threatened to get away from the central defender Brennan Johnson, as the ball came back after De Gea's initial clearance into the near side of the penalty area. The ball goes for Morgan Gibbs-White, back out wide right for Aurier, who's crossed into the box. He's aimed towards Scarpa, but it's headed away by Lindelof, and Manchester United move it up to the midpoint of their own half. And then there's a bit of pinball going on the edge of the box. It's turned over by Forest, and there's space here for Lodi to run into. Renan Lodi back into Scarpa. His curling ball is a deep one over the head of Gibbs-White. Weghorst comes back to help out his defence, but the ball bounces to Aurier, who prods it forward, away by Martinez, back again via Worrell, and then it comes through to Aurier, and then a chance for Danilo. He's going to strike it, but it's a bit of a P-roller all the way through to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, as I say, on that occasion, Forest coming out on top of 50-50 challenges, and I think probably if it was the feature of the game and they're coming out on top of more 50-50s, I think the game would have been a touch more in their favour, if you like, but that's certainly not been the case.
Lindelof charging forward at rapid pace and travelled such a distance, and then passed the ball straight to a red shirt when he got to the other end of the pitch. And then it's gone out eventually for a throw on the near side to Nottingham Forest, but I mean, he was allowed to run a very long way there, Victor Lindelof.
Well, you'd have thought they'd have learnt there, letting Rashford run that distance.
Anthony into the penalty area, winning the ball inside the opposition half. It's on towards Eriksson, who hits it. It hits the top of the crossbar, comes back out and towards Rashford, and Rashford can't get hold of it. Eriksson's effort really did curl away from Wayne Hennessy, smacked off the top of the crossbar, came back out to Rashford. And Manchester United still trying to build an attack here. Rashford into Anthony, back to Rashford again. He's set for a shot. He does shoot in towards the near post, and Hennessy will catch it, so we'll go off to the Conti Cup, where there's been another goal for Charlotte Richardson.
It's Spurs 0, Chelsea 2. Lauren James showed great skill charging down the right-hand side before cutting back to substitute Fran Kirby. An exquisite finish doubles the visitors' lead. It's Spurs 0, Chelsea 2.
Forest 0, Manchester United 2 here. And that curling effort from Eriksson was going right towards the top corner. It was almost as far in the corner as that free kick you scored in a semi-final of this competition in 1990 against Coventry that we played out earlier.
Well, someone's got to tell Eriksson, you've got to get it on target.
Got to get it on target. Got to get it on target. Aurier's down over on the far side, and he gets back up as we get back underway here. It's 2-0 to Manchester United. And Jack Colback is warming up down in front of us. A few Manchester United substitutes warming up too. One or two of them in quite but they're quite well wrapped up. It's not that cold tonight, is it? It's quite a pleasant, even mildish evening compared to what we've had in the last couple of days.
It's certainly, hopefully warming slightly. I'm enjoying it not raining though, I've got to say, Sam.
You obviously giving away your geographical location because it was raining where I was this morning.
Yes.
Here is Gibbs White through the centre circle, out towards the left-hand side. Scarpa picks it up, moves in, left side of the area, tries to get beyond Anthony, who's just held him up slightly here. He's turned into Anthony, flicked out a finger, it's caught him in the face. Anthony's got back up and then got a little bit knocked. They played a 1-2 round him and Scarpa's produced a cross into the box. Martinez with a header away. Comes back out to Gibbs White, who's right-footed shot. Almost caught out David De Gea, who had to just wander to his right-hand side and pick the ball up from the floor.
Yeah, another individual I think who probably Forest would want more from, Surridge. I think he's been okay up front, but, you know, I don't think he's been a pain to play against, or his movement's been that good, or anything of that nature, or he's knitted play together.
Rashford, I think, got winded over on the far side after a little collision. Gareth Southgate and Steve Holland are here watching on, as there are one or two individuals in the game tonight that might have sparked his interest. I wonder whether or not he's looking at Morgan Gibbs-White, as I think Adrian was suggesting at half-time. Ball towards the edge of the box, looking for Wout Weghorst, headed back by Aurier. And we're going to see Alejandro Garnacho in the next few minutes come on for Manchester United. He's a really lively player. And he's a young player, so he drifts in and out of games every now and again, but he has got some magic in those boots. Here is Anthony onto Fernandes, who tries to scoop it over the head of Worrell, who's accused of handball, but the ball goes out for a corner kick instead. Here's the change, and Marcus Rashford's night is done. Taking no chances after getting winded over on that far side.
I think that's a statement of intent by Ten Hag, suggesting that potentially this game is beyond Forest at this moment in time.
Well, 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline every now and again. Manchester United will tell you that you can surrender leads. They've surrendered leads in the last couple of games. In fact, they surrendered lead against Arsenal and Crystal Palace in their last two matches. They're not expected to do that today, but things change very quickly. Here's the corner towards the far post. It comes out on the edge of the area after it's defended well by a combination of Worrell and Freuler. Comes back to Eriksson, who's left-footed driving to the near post. It's cleared away by Danilo. It wasn't a great delivery by Eriksson. And Weghorst has won it back for Manchester United, who lead by 2-0 and have made their first change with Garnacho on the pitch now over on the far side. Anthony skipping past Sam Surridge and giving it back to Fernandes. Infield it goes to Lindelof. Lindelof back to the halfway line. And Manchester United patiently wait. Fernandes in behind the defence, squares the ball after a brilliant pass from Martinez. Weghorst can't get on the end of it, and it's cleared away by Worrell, but that was a little bit too easy for Manchester United to get in behind the Forest defence.
Yeah, it was. I've got to say though, it was a wonderful ball from Martinez, and good movement as well from Fernandes, just dipping away and bursting in behind the back line.
Well, he's played that from the edge of his centre circle, the left side of the centre circle, right over the top of the defence, and Bruno Fernandes just sort of pulled away, didn't he? And if he'd caught it right and gone for goal first time, he could have caused all sorts of problems for Nottingham Forest, who trail here by 2-0 and have just replaced Danilo with Jack Cole back in the centre of midfield.
Yeah, I think to be fair, probably Fernandes could have took a touch on that one, but the movement was outstanding.
Yeah, whole move was pretty good. They're not a team that you think are going to win the title this season, but they are a team that can cause everybody trouble. Good teams all over Europe will be worrying about coming up against Manchester United, and Barcelona are one of those. We've got live commentary of that Barcelona first leg on Talksport a little bit later in February. It's a huge game between two giants of world football, not necessarily always meeting in that competition, the Europa League, the secondary competition, but there's some history between the two, even in a lower tier competition in Europe. Go back to Rotterdam, remember that? The Cup Winners' Cup?
Yes. Mark Hughes, did he score that day?
He did,
yes.
He did. And he did steal one on the line, he told me once as well. And then I think one of the central defenders, was it Pallister or Bruce? Oh, ball given away on the edge of the area. Gibbs White gets it left-footed, drives it towards the far corner, and he misses the target. Well, he's won the ball on the edge of the area after a mishap right on the edge of the box. It was turned over. Gibbs White turned and fired left-footed from the edge of the area towards the far corner. I thought the net was going to bulge. I think he did too.
Well, once again, it's that match-up. Casemiro taking an eternity on the ball, and Gibbs White, no respect whatsoever, dumped him on his backside and just fired his effort over the top of the crossbar. And if Forest are going to get back in the game, and he probably should have done slightly better with that, he's going to be the one, Gibbs White, that's going to initiate it.
What a chance that was for Nottingham Forest to get themselves back in this game, because there's a massive world of difference between going to Old Trafford trailing by 2-0 and by 2-1. Garnacho trying to escape down the left side, or he's kicked the ball away, and Michael Oliver is being encouraged to book Garnacho. He's not going to do it.
No, once again, that rule's gone out the window. Kicking the ball away is legally acceptable now, as is diving. We've got more important things to concentrate on.
I'm a little bit concerned that we've now got to the point where we don't give cards out anymore. It's like maybe Christmas. We want to do the recycling.
It's just for Christmas cards.
No, you can't even do it at Christmas now. Everyone sends an email or a text message, don't they? How many Christmas cards did you get? I didn't get any, I don't think.
All my friends of an age, they send Christmas cards and put a sixpence in a Christmas pudding.
Well, there's a bit of tussling going on over on the far side. Manchester United not happy. Referee eventually allows things to continue, and Manchester United look to come down the left-hand side, but the header by Casemiro is a poor one. It goes out of play. Jesse Lingard's going to come on. He scored in the League Cup final in 2017 for Manchester United, and he is coming off the bench to try and get involved here against his former club. And could he be the man to help rescue Nottingham Forest? He hasn't scored in the Premier League, but he has 2 in 2 in this competition this season.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's coming off, but I would say certainly it's not going to be Johnson or Gibbs White, because I think they're playing reasonably well. It's Surridge will be the one for me. And would they put Johnson up front if they
Possibly,
did that? Potentially.
Jesse Lingard, whose career has stalled since going to Nottingham Forest. In fact, it stalled well before then. It was revived at West Ham. You were part of that revival of his career, weren't you?
He's magnificent there, I've got to say, at West Ham. I think he got himself 10 goals in 20 appearances, and probably the best period of his career, I would fair to say.
Yeah, he scored some big goals in some big finals, hasn't he? But he just hasn't been able to do so consistently for whatever reason. Here's Aurier down the right side, motioning forward and getting up towards the midway point of the Manchester United half. 62 gone, out towards Brennan Johnson, who's looking to jink his way into the area. It's right on the corner of the box, right side. Aurier sends it towards the far stick. Scarpa with the volley hits Aaron Wan-Bissaka and goes out for a corner kick to Nottingham Forest. But they play some good football, Nottingham Forest. They have created chances tonight. They just haven't found one to get beyond David De Gea just yet.
No, as I say, the ball lofted to the far post there. It was Scarpa coming in at the far post, and you thought it's probably not the angle to hit it, but because we've seen him hit a couple of other efforts, you know full well he's going to get it on target.
Corner to be taken on this near side, and Gibbs White is going to take it. It's right-footed, it's very deep, it's over Surridge's head, and it goes out of play and away for a goal kick. So 2 substitutions taking place from Nottingham Forest, and Emmanuel Dennis also coming on. So you would expect Sam Surridge to be one of those changes. It'll be interesting to see who else is bought off by Steve Cooper. Gustavo Scarpa is coming off, and Jesse Lingard is coming on, and Lingard gets a round of applause from the Manchester United fans as well as the Nottingham Forest fans. Surridge and Gustavo Scarpa off, Dennis and Lingard on. It's an attacking substitution from Steve Cooper. He knows he needs goals.
Yeah, it very much is. As I say, I think his tactical approach today has been to get after United and match them up. From Forest's point of view, I'm pleased they've not taken Gibbs White away from the area that Casemiro's at, because I think that's the one place and the one area, the one match-up that might just get them back in the game.
So Johnson playing on the right-hand side, Dennis through the middle, and Lingard out on the left now, with Gibbs-White still playing in the Casemiro area, at number 10 position. It's offensive. Flick on by Aurier, who's misjudged the ball. Garnacho's picked it up down by the byline, threatening to get a cross in. Eriksson will get a cross in towards Weghorst, who couldn't quite glance it towards goal. It was just a bit behind the big, tall, lanky striker. He knows that delivery was coming in, and it wasn't too far away from connecting. I don't know what Aurier was doing in the right fullback position when the ball went down the left side there, Stuart.
No, to be fair, he's quite happy for the ball to go over his head and then leaving it to his teammates to deal with, to be honest with you. He really is.
Garnacho and Weghorst trying to combine. Aurier comes across and wins it this time. Picked up by Joe Worrell. Weghorst thinks he was fouled there. The referee is playing on. And it's collected now by Renan Lodi in towards the feet of Jesse Lingard, who's tight to the touchline on this near side. Back to Remo Freuler. And Nottingham Forest keeping possession well here. The Tricky Trees edge past Wolves on penalties to make the final four. Manchester United comfortably saw off Charlton Athletic in the quarter-finals. Wasn't as comfortable as all that. Should this go to penalties next week, Nottingham Forest won't have Dean Henderson, who was their hero from the round before, but they need to score twice in order for that to happen.
I think there's been a big miss for them. When you see the goals that have been conceded tonight, you know that'll be, as I say, we reported on that before the game. I thought there's a big drop-off in standard, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier on that they're in the market for a new goalkeeper. I think that Dean Henderson injury may be slightly more significant than initially was let on. I mean, he has been out for a little while already, and as a result of that, Keylor Navas has been linked. Here is Anthony for Manchester United, playing the ball centrally. In the centre circle is Eriksson, who meanders forward, moves out to the left-hand side. Fernandes wants it played to the far post. It's aimed towards him. Renan Lodi was there to intervene and head behind and away for a corner kick. He was well positioned, Lodi, to stand in front of Fernandes and head that one behind.
Lodi just showing his opposite full-back what it's like to recover back into a proper position so you can deal with the ball.
I don't think Serge Aurier is going to get man of the match. I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misreading your tone.
I think you know my tone.
I think I do. Tone deaf. 67 minutes gone. You're listening to Talksport.
In musical sense, yes.
Here is Anthony on the edge of the penalty area, but there was a foul already, and that's going to be that was a really poor pullback by Garnacho as the defence looked to escape towards the ball, and it's an easy free kick for Michael Oliver to give. Talksport live at the City Ground, the second semi-final, first leg. Manchester United leading by 2-0. How Nottingham Forest would love to have had Chris Wood available tonight, but he already played in the competition for Newcastle United, so he can't play. Henderson can't play because of injury. Awoniyi's injured as well. So Emmanuel Dennis is now charged with playing as the point man and getting them a goal as we go into the final 22.5 minutes of this first leg. United have had 12 shots on goal, Forest 10. It's been a lively game, full of opportunities, but only one team have got on the score sheet so far. Fernandes trying to get away from Colback. Plays it to Casemiro. A bit scrappy in that Manchester United midfield. Dennis putting pressure on, but Eriksson escapes with the ball over the halfway line. On the right side is Anthony. He moves up towards the edge of the penalty area. He cuts in left-footed. He's got Lodi for company, plays it square in towards Casemiro. Casemiro tried to lay it through to Weghorst, but it was a poor ball. And now Brennan Johnson is escaping, and he's escaping at a rapid pace, running up into the opposition half, playing it infield to Jesse Lingard, who takes it between the first centre-back Lindelof and Martinez, who makes a brilliant recovery run, gets there and manages to clear via Malacia, who body swerves away from a couple of challenges, and Manchester United move the ball brilliantly up the pitch. Anthony takes it on from Weghorst, moves into the midway point of the Forest half, and then stops and turns and gives it back to Fernandes. Looks for the run of Anthony down the right side, uses Eriksson as a decoy. Eriksson produces a cross which is blocked by Lodi. It's out for a corner.
Two really great pieces of play there. Firstly, Johnson breaking, looking a real threat, and Martinez just stayed on his feet, no panic, said, what you're going to do, you're not going to go past me, dealt with the threat, and then from there, Weghorst once again, great play, link-up play, getting turned, pushing the ball out wide, and then surging on to get in the box.
20 minutes to go, two changes incoming, Fred and Pellistri coming on. Pellistri came off the bench to set up a goal for Rashford in the last few moments of the previous round. The Uruguayan, here's the corner, Eriksson in towards the near post. Martinez went down inside the area, but no shout for a penalty. The ball cleared, picked up by Forest, and now they counter-attack. And they've got numbers on this side of the ball, but Martinez is back again, diving in to win the ball, and Manchester United are coming forward as a result. Brilliant challenge. Lovely sweeping ball out to the far side, which then Garnacho can't control, and he kicks it away again over on the far side. Goes out for a throw into Nottingham Forest. Gibbs White's on the floor now.
Steve Cooper's just trying to educate Dennis on where he should have gone with that ball. He's facing up Casemiro. He sat on the bench for the best part of 60 minutes and watched Gibbs White run away from Casemiro. He's quicker than Gibbs White, and he chooses to check back and not take him on.
Are you saying that he wasn't paying attention when he was sitting on the bench?
Well, part of being a substitute is to get to know the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition, I think. And this is a problem for Forest now. Gibbs White's down injured, and he looks worryingly as though that might be his race.
Fred coming on, so is Pellistri, Anthony and Eriksson coming off. And that would be a bit of a worry, wouldn't it, for Nottingham Forest if Gibbs White couldn't continue?
Well, I think more so for the replay next week, or the second leg next week, should I say, and also their league campaign.
Well, luckily they haven't got a game until next week when they play Manchester United, and then their next games after that are Leeds at home, Fulham away, Manchester City at home, West Ham away, and Everton at home. They'll certainly need him for that. Nico Williams is coming on, so is O'Brien. And there is a goal in the Conti Cup for Talksport. Charlotte Richardson.
It's Spurs 0, Chelsea 3. Chelsea practically sealed their place in the semi-final. Sam Kerr with her second of the evening. A delightful chip over the on-rushing goalkeeper. It's Spurs 0, Chelsea 3.
And Renan Lodi is also coming off alongside Morgan, Gibbs White. Nico Williams coming on. He'll play at left back for the final 18 minutes. He's getting applauded by all four sides of the ground. Here is Morgan Gibbs White. I mean, everybody knows that he's been a very impressive performer on the evening.
He certainly has. He's been the main threat for Forest. There's no doubt about that. I think he stopped Casemiro dictating play and starting passings from the back, passing motions from the back, and he can be pleased with his evening's work, but disappointed obviously that he's got to leave the pitch injured.
27.5 minutes gone in the second half, and it's Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 2, live on Talksport from the City Ground, and we are in the Peter Taylor stand, which is the last remaining relic, I think, of Stuart's days here. I mean, it really was. I mean, your first days here. I mean, I went downstairs earlier on, and I thought I'd gone back to 1985, to be honest with you.
This is going towards my wardrobe again, isn't it? I can see where you're working here. There's no need for it. Cheap shot.
Yeah, they are eventually going to rebuild this, I think, this stand, the Peter Taylor stand. That's the plan anyway.
Yeah, I think we've got a little bit of asbestos behind us as well, actually, so the sooner the better, the safer the better.
Oh, right, OK. I'm sort of not sure whether that's sarcastic or not, but really hoping that it's not true. Here is Dennis picking the ball up in the midway point of the opposition half. He plays it wide out towards the left to Nico Williams, who's right-footed ball towards Lingard. Lingard gets up there, tries to get a header on towards goal, but it's narrowly wide of the left-hand upright. Didn't really get proper purchase on that. It was a bit too heavy for him, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left.
Yeah, so great stand up to the far post there, and then two players coming in, Lingard being one of them, Johnson the other, and neither really took charge of the situation, and Jesse looked as though he was a little bit more concerned about being clouted on the back of the head rather than heading the ball. And so there's no doubt Ten Hag will be delighted with certainly the result if it stays this way, gets them closer to a major final. And I think the performance certainly from his team as well, and within that I think Weghorst and Martinez have been very, very good.
And I told you earlier that he'd won the Cups in Dutch football 3 times with 2 different clubs. I think he knows how to handle a 2-legged tie as well, doesn't he? I mean, they've handled this 2-legged tie particularly well, started fast, got themselves in front, and they sort of managed the game in this second half, really.
Yeah, they've done exactly that. They've managed the game really, really well, and looks as though it's going to get them over the line.
Tonight, at least, there's still another game to come. We'll bring that to you next week, live on Talksport. Ball given away cheaply by Dennis, and it's picked up by Garnacho, trying to escape past Aurier. He beat Aurier once, and Aurier then almost gave it back to him so he could have another go. Eventually, it was cleared from the far side, and it's up over the halfway line, and it's with Tyrell Malacia. 15 to go on Talksport. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 2. Casemiro, Martinez, all being played at a walking pace when Manchester United have the ball now until they burst into life. No need to force the issue. They know that game management is all important. Their next game against Reading is Saturday night. They've got quite a few home games upcoming, Manchester United, which is going to help them. Home to Reading, home to Forest, home to Palace, home to Leeds, and away to Leeds and Barcelona.
When you listen to those fixtures, United should be rubbing their hands, shouldn't they? You know, from the fixture list that they've had. Obviously a tough one in the Manchester derby and Arsenal away, but certainly enough games there that are winnable for them.
Here they come on the left-hand side with Tyrell Malacia. 2 yards back from the edge of the area was Fernandez, who wanted the ball, stopped Martinez from coming to get it as they recycled towards the halfway line. Wan-Bissaka into Casemiro, being tracked by O'Brien, and then Wan-Bissaka is forced wide by Jesse Lingard. We've seen enough from Nottingham Forest tonight to suggest that they'll be okay in the Premier League. They look to me as if they are a team that are unified, that are united, that are working together.
Yeah, I think so. I think a major blow is if Gibbs White has got a long-termer injury, or Henderson's going to be out for a length of time, because we've seen Gibbs White and the form he's on at the moment tonight, without a doubt, and probably Hennessy, I'm not sure he's covered himself in glory in both the goals.
Chris Wood has made a bit of a positive impact off the field. I know that. In the dressing room, he's already been part of discussions about how they can get the best out of him. He's been pretty forthcoming, and that is something that Steve Cooper does. He has his team meetings, they're quite collegiate. He'll take opinions from everybody. They work together to try and formulate a plan of how to go forward, and Nottingham Forest have certainly gone forward under Steve Cooper. It was only 18 months ago that they were bottom of the league in the Championship, and now they're in a 2-legged semi-final against Manchester United. Here's Fred from distance, trying a shot from 20 yards out from goal. It's way over the top of the crossbar, and it's out for a goal kick away to our right.
There's certain players, when they go to strike on the edge of the box, you think they don't look confident within themselves, and there's other players you think this is going in the net. You know, if you compare Harry Kane to the effort we've just seen from Fred, yes. Fred didn't fill me with confidence as he's going to hit the target, or secondly score a goal.
Yeah, although the other week I saw Fred take a free kick and everybody started to groan as he went up to address the ball, and he smacked it beautifully against the junction of crossbar and post. He was so close to scoring what would have been a fantastic goal.
Well, maybe he's better with a still ball than a moving one then. Is that what we're saying? Potentially.
Know. But as you said before, he didn't hit the target. West Ham into the semi-finals, beating Liverpool 1-0 away at the Conti Cup. The League Cup, you've heard about Manchester City's experiences tonight away at Bristol City, and Chelsea doing well too as the ball comes into the box on the right side by Pellistri, looking for Weghorst, who glances the ball behind.
Tell you what, beautiful cross into the box there, just pulled it back with whip on it, and there's that man again, Weghorst, making ground up to make the box, to get in a real critical area, just skimmed off his forehead and out the back door.
Yep. didn't get proper connection on it. Ended up going well wide of the goal. Bristol City 0. Manchester City Women 6 was the full-time score in the Conti Cup. Liverpool 0, West Ham 1. And Tottenham Hotspur were 3-0 down against Chelsea the last time we heard. But I think there's been another goal, Charlotte Richardson.
A late goal. Spurs 1, Chelsea 3. I think it's going to prove nothing more than a consolation, but an absolute thunderbolt of a strike from former Chelsea player Drew Spence, 25 yards out. No mistake with the finish. It's Spurs 1, Chelsea 3.
Well, Manchester United will want to see this one out. And led at Palace, sat at Arsenal, didn't win. Goals have been flowing freely for them recently. They've got 2 here tonight, taking a run to 10 games in the last 12 where they've scored at least twice, Manchester United, in a game. And that sort of goal output gives you a chance, doesn't it? If you're scoring that sort of level of goals, you've got a real opportunity to achieve something.
Well, it certainly does. And, you know, they've added Weghorst to that, who's got a decent goal-scoring record himself. So they've got enough creativity in midfield to find passes and goals from all over the place, and options on the bench when you're bringing Garnacho on and various other players.
Fred floating the ball out towards the far side. Garnacho used his hand to bring that down. There's a bit of a dispute apparently with the agent of Garnacho and Manchester United. His contract expires at the end of next season, although they do have another year's option on him. But apparently he's asking for a very big bumper pay deal. The agent, that is. And I think it was Paul Parker this week who said he should get rid of the agent and just concentrate on trying to play more and more football, because there's no doubt that he is incredibly talented, but Manchester United also know that he is a talent that needs harnessing.
Yep, and as I say, good education and a good place to get your education here, I think.
Williams back to McKenna. The centre-half gives it to his goalkeeper. Forest has scored late goals in recent games. They scored late to equalise on Saturday. Sam Surridge scoring after 83 minutes. We've got 9 minutes to go here. If they could get a goal in the last 10 minutes, things might be different when we go back to Old Trafford next Wednesday night. Full time in the Conti Cup, Charlotte Richardson.
Full time, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Chelsea 3. Job done for last season's finalists who progressed to the semi-final. A goal in each half for top scorer Sam Kerr and a fine finish from Frank Kirby ensures Chelsea progress despite a late goal. The best of the game from former Blue Drew Spence. 90 done, it finishes. Spurs 1, Chelsea 3.
Steve Cooper wants to get things moving for Nottingham Forest. Plays it into Williams on this near side, trying to get him to take a throw quickly. O'Brien sends it down the left touchline. It's to no one in particular. Wan-Bissaka draws a foul. It's going to be a free kick. Unnecessary from Dennis to give that away. Now, as far as I understand it, the whole Mull of Kintyre stuff with Nottingham Forest started in the 70s when Brian Clough took his team away on a mid-season break, right?
Yes.
And the players sang the song because it was one of the top songs at the time, brought it back, and the fans got involved with it as well, and it became an anthem here.
I think it was number one for many years in 77, I believe. Potentially.
I don't think it was number one for many years, but it might have been number one for many weeks.
Okay,
you know.
many weeks.
Now, do you remember that League Cup semi-final of 1992 when you won 2-1 away at Tottenham, and then you went off to Tenerife?
Yes.
Another mid-season break. Do you know what was number one on that day?
92.
Yeah. It was number one for a very long time. Not years, but it was number one for a very long time.
The theme from Robin Hood.
No.
Oh.
It's close. That was Bryan Adams.
Yes, that was the one.
No, it wasn't that one. It was Shakespeare's sister, Stay.
Right, I see.
I wonder why that didn't become an anthem. Did you not sing that in the dressing room? Ball given away by Manchester United, and Dennis tries to attack the penalty area away to our left-hand side. It's picked up by Nico Williams, who tries to charge into the box. He's gone down outside the area. Pellistri going to be spoken to, and that is going to be a yellow card for Pellistri.
I'll tell you what, these are interesting ones. Surely you should err on the forward here. The forward has burst into the box, albeit a defender attacking, but...
You think it's in the area?
I think it's very, very close. And you're almost penalising the striker. No, it's outside.
Contact is definitely outside the box.
Yeah, definitely outside.
He falls into the area.
Yes,
he tries his best to get in there, like he was leaping off of a mid-diving board. But he has generated a yellow card for Facundo Pellistri, the first yellow card we've had in the game, and he will take it.
A little pullbacks on here to the edge of the box, but I'm not sure Forest are looking for it.
All right, O'Brien is lurking on the edge of the D. Nico Williams is going to take this free kick. He sends it instead towards the back post. It's headed away by Wan-Bissaka. And then it's picked up by Garnacho over on the far side, who's held on to it well. He's trying to turn away. Jack Colback has then fouled him, picked the ball up, and then moaned at the assistant on the far side for giving a free kick the other way. Here comes a change for Manchester United, and off comes Wout Weghorst, and on comes Anthony Elanga. And Weghorst getting his first Manchester United goal. I think he'll be delighted with the way he's not only contributed to the score sheet tonight, Stuart, but his overall play has been pretty good.
I think he's been absolutely super, I really do. If I'm a midfield player playing for United, I know I can give him the ball, trust him with the ball. He won't give it away, he holds it up. And someone said to me, if you play for the big clubs in any country, you've got to not give the ball away, and he certainly doesn't give the ball away. I think he's been super tonight, I really do.
He has his first goal, and Manchester United lead here by 2-0 with 5 minutes to go. It's been at least the first 60 minutes of this game, Stuart, were absolutely brilliant, weren't they? In fact, I don't want to pinpoint one man, but I would suggest that ever since Morgan Gibbs-White has departed the scene, the game's gone a bit flat.
It certainly has. Any threat, I mean, Jesse's done very little since he's come on.
He just helped the ball on for Dennis to chase towards the edge of the penalty area. Lingard has come across, and the ball is easily cleared by Manchester United. Aurier's got it back just inside opposition territory, plays it against Malacia, and it goes out to the far side. Forest 0, Manchester United 2. Dennis going over towards the far touchline and then getting involved in a confrontation.
I don't think there's been an impact from Dennis or Jesse Lingard, to be honest with you. And as I say, Gibbs-White has been a massive blow, because he's linked in with Johnson and he's helped Johnson with his game as well. But a goal now, any time between the end, and I think it offers an opportunity to Forest in the second leg.
It keeps the door just that little bit open, doesn't it? 3.5 to go. Aimed in towards Worrell on the edge of the penalty area. Comes out as far as Brennan Johnson, who clips it aimlessly out towards the far side. The interception comes from Garnacho, and Manchester United are able to escape. It's up towards Fred, then back in towards Martinez, and it remains 2-0 to Manchester United. It looks like this is going to be the first time that Forest have been beaten here since September, when they lost to Fulham. They've been so good at the City Ground recently, but Manchester United are going to win 7 trips in a row. Here on the left-hand side is Garnacho again, back to Fernandez. Fernandez wanders up towards the edge of the area, gives it back to Casemiro. 2 red shirts go hounding and win the ball back. Aurier with a little Cruyff turn, then gives it away to Fred on the edge of his own penalty area, and there's 4 the wrong side of the ball, and Pellistri's getting through onto the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper goes down. Pellistri continues to fight for it, and then Aurier decides the best thing to do is probably sit on Pellistri to make sure that he can't go any further.
I'm not sure what Aurier was doing there on the edge of his own box, but he nearly cost his team the whole tie, to be honest with you, if that would have hit the back of the net. But
well, he's an experienced player, isn't he, Serge Aurier? I mean, he's played in some big teams. It beggars belief that he makes such random decisions every now and again. Here's Pellistri through the middle, and Nico Williams with a wonderful tackle, then a juggle. He's given it to Elanga inadvertently. Comes out to Fernandez, edge of the box, right-footed, volleys the ball under the goalkeeper. 3-0 to Manchester United, and Wembley is in their sights. Brilliant finish from Fernandez. Another goal for him. It's his 3rd goal in 4 games, and the way he took that was superb. Calm finish, edge of the box, on the volley, past the goalkeeper. 3-0.
Difference between the sides tonight, Sam, over the 90 minutes or 88 as we're on at the moment, clinical finishing. As I say, there's been 3 really outstanding finishes, I think, from United. The keeper would have been disappointed on the first 2, definitely, but from United's point of view, good goals. And when Forest had the opportunity, just a stray foot offside cost them an equaliser.
Really, really good finish. It was a great tackle from Nico Williams to stop Pellistri from going through one-on-one initially. When it came back out to Fernandez on the edge of the box, it just popped up in front of him and he kept it low brilliantly. Such a good finish as it was bobbling around, and he just took that so well down towards the goalkeeper's right. I wonder whether or not Wayne Hennessy be a little bit disappointed.
It's gone straight. Listen, there's 4 defenders of Forest in and around the ball, and too many of them just looking at the ball and not being aggressively proactive, trying to stop the danger.
Forest 0, Manchester United 3. The Manchester United fans celebrated by rushing towards the front row of the stand away to our right. And whilst they were trying to make contact with their players, celebrating, they knocked an advertising board down and all came tumbling onto the pitch, the Manchester United fans.
Yeah, I think the exuberance just got to them, and they see their team at Wembley now, and aside from an incredible turnaround next week, I think that will be the case.
Manchester United leading by 3-0, and Nottingham Forest giving a goal away at that stage of this game is a real disappointment for Steve Cooper. His team actually in the first 60 minutes of this game played very, very well. In fact, up until we got to that goal from Weghorst, you thought they were still very much in it.
Yep, you certainly did. As I say, they had moments, but most of those moments happened through Gibbs White, it's fair to say.
Well, 3 minutes of added time have been allotted by the 4th official, and Manchester United are heading towards yet another victory after that little blip against Palace and Arsenal. They are back and on the road to winning again, a win that should take them all the way to Wembley, and that's what their fans are singing away to our right hand side, knowing full well that a victory here tonight by this margin is going to be difficult to overturn for Nottingham Forest when it comes to next week at Old Trafford.
You've got to hand it to United. You know, they're on good form admittedly, but to come away in the first leg away from home against a team that are on good form league-wise,
especially
on
here
the
as well.
Exactly.
They've beaten Tottenham, they've beaten
Liverpool here.
They've drawn with Chelsea here.
Yeah,
it's not a team that get pushed over very often at the City Ground.
No, so certainly don't underestimate what United have done tonight to win 3-0 on the road in the semi-final. Takes some doing.
And it's the first time we've really seen the value of having Weghorst as the number 9 for Manchester United as well, I think.
Without a doubt, I think he's been outstanding tonight with just sensible centre-forward play.
Might see a bit more of him. Pellistri trying to get in behind the opposition defence. Hennessy came out though and was quick to grab it. And there's just 60 seconds left for Manchester United to negotiate. Next game for them is Reading live on Talksport on Saturday night. It's one of 9 FA Cup ties that we'll be bringing you. Remember, you'll be able to listen to all of those if you download our app and then swipe between the 2 stations. Pretty easy to do. And tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, the breakfast show is back. Alan Brazil, Ali McCoy, they've got some good guests on tomorrow. Darren Gough is coming on the programme to talk about the cricket coverage we've got upcoming from Friday on Talksport 2. Dwight York's on the show as well. Here's Dennis, edge of the area, right-footed for Nottingham Forest, spanking the ball goalwards, and then it comes off Lindelof and goes behind and away for a corner kick, which Lingard wants to take. He's going to dispatch it into the near post. Might fall for Aurier. Didn't see it coming. And then that's it. That's the full-time whistle. Victory for Manchester United away. And after Tottenham, Chelsea and Liverpool struggled to win here this season, Manchester United were never going to fall into that trap. Erik ten Hag's hunt for silverware in his first season at Old Trafford gets a timely boost thanks to Marcus Rashford, Wout Weghorst and Bruno Fernandes, and a 3-goal advantage to take into next week's second leg. There's still a long way to go, but United fans will be thinking that a return to Wembley is on the cards. They might even start booking the trains and hotels. It's finished. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 3.
Well, I think the players know. They're all shaking hands and exchanging pleasantries. They know that this tie is pretty much over. If it isn't over, it's going to be some spectacular turnaround, and in the end, we said at half-time, Stuart Pearce, that the scoreline is everything in a cup tie. The performance doesn't really matter. And Forest, they showed up well in the first half, less so in the second half. But 8 unbeaten here, Forest, before tonight. 8 unbeaten. And that shows you what a job Manchester United have done here tonight. You have to say that without being spectacularly brilliant, they've done a brilliant job.
They have. I don't think we can underestimate United. They were favourites coming into it, and sometimes it's easy to overlook a victory. 3-0 in a major semi-final on the road in the first leg with some clinical finishes. Forest showed glimpses of threat on occasion, mainly through Gibbs White and Johnson, but in the main they were undone by some really clinical finishes and a couple of really good performances, I think, from at the front of the team, Weghorst, and at the back of the team, Martinez.
Let's talk about Marcus Rashford. He scored in every round of this competition. He got off to a flyer. Basically, Forest let him have a goal, really. But he's absolutely banging form for Manchester United right now. Yeah,
he certainly is. As I say, he's picked the ball up. He's run half the length of the pitch. He had a guided tour into the Forest box and then a clinical finish that Forest will be disappointed with. But to have the ability to drive at the opposition and do that, you know, it's a talent.
About Weghorst, you're impressed with him. If we did have a man of the match feature, I think you might get it.
100%. Sensible centre-forward play, held it up, hardly ever gives the ball away, linked his teammates and his wide players into the game and got himself a goal which made his finish look probably a lot easier than it actually was. So he can be very proud and looks a very good acquisition.
And the finish at the end from Bruno Fernandes, you kind of alluded to it in commentary, and in fact we could look at all 3 goals and have a look at Hennessy. You said pre-match that Forest would miss Henderson. It proved to be the case because there is a vast difference between, no disrespect, there's a vast difference in quality between the 2 keepers.
I think so. As I say, I think he's done pretty well for Forest this year when I've seen matches and seen goals conceded or certainly saves that he's made. He is a decent goalkeeper and the number 1 goalkeeper here. Obviously he was cup tied, so he couldn't have played tonight, but the bottom line is, you know, I think Forest have come up against one of the form teams in the country, and at the end of it, the result has probably put them out of the competition.
Well, Bruno Fernandes has given his shirt to a United fan in the away end, away to our right, the Bridgeford end. He wanders back towards the tunnel, clenches his fist for the cameras. Down the tunnel he goes. I saw Rashford and Lingard walking off together as well. I know he's got a hamstring issue ongoing, Jesse Lingard, but I think he might be a little bit disappointed with his cameo in the second half.
Yeah, I think him and Dennis were disappointing when they come on. I think they're fairly non-existent in regard. Maybe the game had gone away from their team at the time and we've been a bit harsh on them, but I think as soon as Gibbs White left the arena, I think that was Forest lot, and I didn't see a lot from Johnson after that because I think Gibbs White was the one in and around Casemiro that was causing the problem.
Yeah, Gibbs White was terrific until the injury, and we'll get an interview with both managers afterwards. You can hear those interviews in the sports bar. We'll find out what the extent of the injury to Gibbs White might be. It's left Forest needing to think about Liverpool, Barcelona in the Champions League, coming back from 3-0 down, but you just can't see them doing it at Old Trafford, can you?
Well, I think a lot of their chances will probably hinge on Gibbs White's fitness. I think on what I've seen tonight, if he's not in their ranks, it's not insurmountable, but it will be a really, really tough task. It will probably be one of the biggest turnarounds that we've seen in modern day football.
Yep. Stuart, really enjoyed your company tonight. Thank you very much, Stuart Pearce, with us at Forest, who've been beaten tonight. Full times: Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 3, Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. National League, it finished Halifax 0, Scunthorpe 1. Cam Wilson with the only goal, 2 wins in 3.